Joining me now to go further into what's been coming out of the United Nations General Assembly with regards to Israel and the Middle East is Victoria Coates, a former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Trump. She is now president of the Heritage Foundation's Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy. Victoria, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks so much for joining us.
Very good to see you, Tony. Just a minor connection. I'm vice president.
Oh, well, I'll make that correction.
Promoted.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best. All right, let's talk about this proposed agreement that's being sent by Hamas to the president. I mean, the president's made pretty clear the hostages need to be released. Is this just a delay tactic?
It's absolutely a delay tactic. And I mean, the only reason Hamas is getting into the business of post office is that they know their days are numbered. And I know the Israeli strike on Doha was controversial 10 days ago. But what that showed the remaining leadership of Hamas that is in Qatar is Israel can reach out and touch you. And maybe they failed on that particular strike, but they can reach out again. And so I think you're seeing them get a little bit desperate. The president has been very clear. I don't want 2 hostages today, 3 tomorrow, 5 on Tuesday, a couple of bodies next week, and you all get thousands of prisoners in return. No, let them all go now. That was his very clear message from the podium of the United Nations. That was such a powerful, important message. And that's what Hamas has to do. This isn't a negotiation. This is a declaration from the president.
And that's not new. I mean, he's been saying that. He said, time's running out, you need to release the hostages. And so it's not a new message. So for them to offer releasing half tells me they're not serious at all.
No, this is just more of their trying to delay, trying to get pressure on Israel. And that's why what is happening at the United Nations General Assembly this week is such a gift to them, because it encourages them. It gives them a propaganda point.
I think you're absolutely right. I think they wouldn't be offering this. I don't even think it's an offer, a legitimate offer. But I don't think they would be doing it if they didn't have all of these European countries tripping over themselves to recognize a Palestinian state.
And it's not just the Europeans, it's the Canadians, it's the Australians, it's the West writ large. But I would like to point out the countries that said no: Singapore, Indonesia, Italy, one of my favorite countries as an recovering art historian. There are countries that the United States can. One of my favorite countries as a recovering art historian. But it was great to hear the Prime Minister of Italy saying no until all the hostages come home, until there's some negotiated settlement with Israel. We're not going to have a Palestinian state.
That was the position of the UK in July, but they changed it. They changed their position. They wanted Hamas to let all the hostages go. They wanted to, they had to lay down their arms and not be a part of any future government. But Starmer obviously changed his mind and went ahead forward with it. Victoria, I want to ask you about one thing the president reportedly said yesterday in his meeting with Arab and Muslim leaders on the sidelines, was that he promised he wouldn't let Israel annex the area known as the West Bank, which is actually Judea and Samaria, which is the heartland of Israel. What do we know about that? What's your take on that?
My take is I would take that with a grain of salt. I think that the president has been very sensitive to the issues around Judea and Samaria. He's also been very sensitive to issues around Israel's sovereignty. So my expectation is he's going to see this more as an internal Israeli security decision. And so that's how I would see it. And the Palestinians have been given, Tony, for 90 years, the option of some kind of mutual sort of state within the territory that makes up modern Israel. Before the foundation of modern Israel, this was on the table. They've said no every single time. So offering them territory now in 2025 isn't going to get us any further than it did 90 years ago. So I would be a little suspicious about what the president said he's going to tell the leader of a sovereign country like Prime Minister Netanyahu, he can or cannot do within his borders.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, the developments that are rapidly happening in Israel, where you have even Arabs within the Palestinian area wanting to create emirates and come under relationship with Israel because they don't want the corruption of the Palestinian Authority. They saw what happened in Gaza with Hamas, and they don't want to repeat.
No, and we're seeing this in Gaza too, where there are things like the Popular Front that are saying, look, we might not love Israel, but boy, do we hate Hamas. So maybe we can provide some services. Maybe we can start to build something that could in the future be a state. And this is what's so ridiculous about what these, what you'd call advanced Western countries are trying to recognize at the United Nations this week. I mean, there are no boundaries, there are no institutions, there's nothing that could create a state. You think about the creation of Israel in 1948 and how quickly that stood up as an institutional state and has become, over these 75 years, one of the most powerful countries in the world. Who thinks that's going to happen with any Palestinian entity right now? What is that going to be other than some kind of factory for terrorism?
Right.
Nobody wants it in the region. That's the reality.
I think that the folks realize that Hamas, they didn't deliver basic resources. I mean, water, sewage. They can build tunnels. They can build a terrorist infrastructure, but they can't provide basic services. The same thing, actually, in the Palestinian Authority in Hebron. They have the same issue. They can't get water. They're having to get it from Israel. So they know who can take care of business. Final question for you. We've got just about a minute left, Victoria. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is scheduled to address the UN General Assembly on Friday. What do you expect him to say?
Well, quite frankly, if I were the prime minister, I would say you're welcome. That we have spent the last 2 years taking out the trash for the region and getting rid of some of the most destructive terrorist scum in Lebanon, in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Yemen, in Iran, and have made actually the Middle East more stable. That these are the disruptive elements. Israel's taken them out without igniting a regional war, which everybody keeps telling us is what's going to happen. Guess what? It hasn't. So thank you, Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Good point. Very good point. Victoria Coates, always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tony.